Surely each of us has heard the story of Satan and the fallen angels, beings who once lived in heaven, but fell into darkness due to pride and ambition. However, the truth behind these stories is not as simple as we might think. Questions like, who is Satan really? Why did the angels turn against God? Continue to intrigue us. But have you ever wondered if this story is not just a distant legend, but in fact, it might reflect issues that are very close to us in our daily lives? Pride, boundless ambition, and the thirst for power. These are things that can affect each of us if we fail to keep them in check. Are Satan and the fallen angels merely characters in religious stories? Or can we also see traces of them in the actions and thoughts of people today? Let's explore the truths hidden behind this story and see what lessons they might teach us in life. The truth behind.
The image of Satan and the fallen angels is not unfamiliar to us. They often appear in religious stories, moral teachings, and even in popular culture. However, when we ask the question, who are Satan and the fallen angels? The answer is not simple and contains profound meanings. God, with His infinite power, created countless angels beyond counting. One day, during an exorcism, Father Candido Amantini, a revered priest of the Passionist order and my spiritual father, asked a demon, "How many of you are there?" The demon replied, "We are so many that if we were to appear, we would cover the entire sky." Indeed, we have no reason not to believe this information, as it has been confirmed in the Bible. A large number of angels fell because they rebelled against God. We recall that before entering heaven, God had made the angels undergo a test of obedience and humility, which is something we only understand in nature, not in detail. The sin of the fallen angels was pride and disobedience to God. Satan, the most beautiful angel among them, recognizing his extreme wisdom, rejected the idea of submitting to anyone. He forgot that he too was a creation of God. Many other angels followed his madness. The original sins of the fallen angels are similar to those of those who secretly or openly support Satanism. Just like the fallen angels, Satanists often base their existence on these principles. You can do anything you want, meaning you don't have to submit to God's laws. You don't need to obey anyone, and you are the master of your own life. What happened between the angels is recounted in chapter 12 of the book of Revelation. A great war between the angels loyal to God and those who rebelled against Him, or more simply, the battle between angels and demons. In this passage, the Bible tells us that the Archangel Michael led the angelic army, while the dragon led the fallen angels, who were defeated. As a result, there was no place for them in heaven anymore. Revelation 12:8. According to the book, An Exorcist Explains the Demonic by Father Gabriele Amorth, we will be provided with explanations for the following. Now, let's address the specific actions of demons, beginning with the first question. Can demons know our thoughts? Can they understand what we are thinking at any given moment in our lives? The answer is very simple. Absolutely not. Theology agrees on this matter. Only God, with his nature as an omniscient God who understands all the mysteries of human beings and angels, even the realities that have not yet been created, can know the innermost thoughts of each person. Although demons are spiritual beings, they cannot comprehend the thoughts and feelings within our minds and souls. They can only make educated guesses based on observing our behavior. With their superior intelligence, this is not a complex process for them. For example, if they see a young man using marijuana, demons may immediately infer that in the future, he will use stronger drugs. More specifically, from everything we read, see, say, and experience, even from a passing glance, or from the friends we associate with, demons can identify where or when they can tempt us. And that is how demons operate. In the first letter of Saint Peter, the Apostle, there is a passage that says, "Be sober and vigilant. Your adversary, the devil, walks around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Resist him, steadfast in the faith." 1 Peter chapter 5, 8-9. Many scholars agree with my interpretation of this passage. Brothers and sisters, be alert. The devil is always circling each of you, looking for a spot to devour. The word spot is very important because demons observe the weaknesses of each person precisely and work with them to create opportunities for sin. With their freedom, the person targeted will sin after being softened up by the temptations of demons. As time passes, the most common weaknesses of humans remain the same: pride, wealth, and lust. And we must note that there is no age limit for sinning. When hearing confessions, I often tell penitents, somewhat jokingly, that their temptations will end only 5 minutes after they take their last breath. Therefore, we must absolutely not hope or assume that when we reach old age, we will be immune to sin. A vice cultivated from youth will not diminish with age unless there is an intervention or a change. For example, regarding lust, I have heard many confessions, and it is not uncommon for an older person to confess that they watch pornography more often than they did when they were younger. The will to fight against sin must be cultivated until the last day of life. Let's move on to the second question. Who should be afraid, demons or humans? Saint James the Apostle said in his letter, "Submit yourselves to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." James chapter 4, 7. Demons always keep their distance from those who nurture their faith, who regularly receive the sacraments, and who sincerely strive to live righteously. Why is this? Simply put, demons despise and fear God, as well as anything that carries the fragrance of holiness. If we reflect on this, we can recall moments in our lives when we deepened our spiritual lives and felt stronger in resisting temptations. On the other hand, we must avoid becoming prideful and always remember that demons will never stop tempting us until the end of our lives. I should also mention that sacred places have a similar effect, especially places with a strong devotion to the Blessed Virgin Mary. I can cite a few famous locations that have caused Satan to experience defeat, such as Loreto, Lourdes, and Fatima. Many exorcisms have taken place at these locations. Satan fears the children of God, those who continually seek ways to become conformed to the image of Jesus Christ. Demons realize that they are much stronger and smarter than humans. Yet, they also know that humans are never alone in the battle against them. For example, in the later years of his life, Saint John Bosco, one of the greatest saints of the 19th century, freed a young girl from demonic possession simply by entering the chapel, putting on his vestments, and celebrating Mass. Demons always fear the saints and their holiness. To put it simply, demons can affect the entire body or a part of it without being fixed in any particular organ or specific area. When someone who is possessed falls into a state of unconsciousness, the demon will somehow take control, compelling the person to make uncontrolled movements, speak incoherently, or curse. It is as if the demon has taken over the entire body of the possessed person, causing them to lose control. Sometimes it may seem like a demon resides in the throat, stomach, intestines, or head, where pain and suffering are revealed. In reality, demons do not reside in any specific organ of the body, but influence them at certain moments. We cannot reason about spirits in the same way we do about human matters. The spaces within the human body are not drained or filled like we would do with a glass of water. In the case of demons and the Holy Spirit, these two opposing entities can coexist within the same body, but they are always in conflict. On the other hand, we know that many saints have been tormented by evil spirits, even though they were clearly filled with the Holy Spirit. How can we explain this if demons cannot occupy physical spaces? Surely, the Holy Spirit can drive out demons, but He does so within the boundaries of our free will, allowing us to make our own choices. The Gospel of St. Mark says, "This kind can only come out by prayer." Mark 9:29. Who should fast and pray? Everyone, those attacked by evil spirits and those around them. First, this is a test of extraordinary faith, a response to the call to holiness. Then, it is an invitation to express Christian charity in a tangible way. Indeed, the prayers of family members are very effective. This cooperation can be very helpful in creating a positive atmosphere in the home. These are things I want to share with those I have exorcised, pastors, friends, and anyone who lends a hand in helping to free those who are possessed. The question asked repeatedly, and in my view, the most interesting one, is, what do demons look like? Or what is their form? Demons are simply spiritual beings. They do not have a physical form. so they cannot appear before us in a specific physical shape. This is similar to angels. If they wish to appear before humans, they must assume a form familiar to us. The Bible shows many instances where angels appeared in human form. For example, in the book of Tobit, the Archangel Raphael accompanied the young Tobiah on his mission in the form of a young man. Returning to the form of demons, many believe that by their nature, demons are far more hideous than we can imagine. This repulsive appearance is a direct result of their separation from God, as well as their deliberate and irrevocable choice to rebel. We can infer this conclusion from a logical argument. If God is the all-perfect one, then anyone who separates themselves from Him must necessarily be the complete opposite. Of course, this is simply a theological development we deduce based on revelation and the help of natural reason when illuminated by faith. And if we continue discussing this issue, do we desire to assign a form to demons in some way? To begin, we must set aside the images that originate from ancient traditions, depicting demons with sharp horns, tails, bat wings, fangs, and fiery eyes. As spiritual beings, they clearly cannot embody such traits. If these images help us fear the actions of demons against us, then we have reason to welcome these depictions. However, there is a great danger in placing too much belief in these images, and they may actually be beneficial to demons. On another note, we could easily fall into the trap of viewing demons as ancient relics, as a worn-out fabric of the past and a folly of the foolish. Demons, being very clever, can also pretend to assume normal forms. The case of Saint Padre Pio of Pietrelcina, also known as Padre Pio of the Five Wounds, is a perfect example. Sometimes, demons appear to him as a ferocious dog. At other times, as images of Jesus Christ or the Virgin Mary. And on still other occasions, as his confessor or the abbot of the monastery, ordering him to do something. However, after verifying the commands he received from his superiors, Padre Pio understood that he had encountered a demon. On some occasions, demons even appeared as a beautiful naked woman. Finally, demons may also manifest through unpleasant odors, such as the smell of sulfur or animal waste. This often occurs when a priest blesses a house, or for those who are particularly sensitive to frightening sounds, such as the clear sensation of rustling winds or physical sensations being disturbed. Now, let's confront another topic. Some people claim to have seen and perceived souls. Is this just imagination? Does it relate to wandering souls? On this matter, we must proceed with caution and discernment. Presences of demons or spirits have been witnessed in specific writings or large collective exorcism rituals. What can we say about these occurrences? First of all, there are certainties in our faith. The first certainty is that we only have one life, and we are living in this world. After death, we will be judged before the Lord's tribunal. If we are worthy, we will be taken to live with God. If not, we will be separated from Him forever. The second certainty is that there is a form of communion that exists between the deceased faithful and us. This is the principle of the Church as the mystical body, the principle of communion within the Church. Specifically, there is a spiritual communion between the saints in heaven, the souls in purgatory, and us, the ones still on our earthly pilgrimage. This communion is expressed through intercession. In particular, the souls in purgatory, those undergoing purification, can offer up their sufferings in a special way for us. In turn, they also benefit greatly from our prayers. Except for the souls damned in hell, they do not like and do not wish for our prayers. Returning to the topic of wandering souls, in my view, if after death we immediately ascend to heaven, descend to hell, or enter purgatory, it is unlikely that wandering souls truly exist. In an ancient exorcism ritual, people are warned against fake, demonic possessions or spiritual disturbances commonly attributed to the souls of the deceased. In reality, this could be a disguise created by demons. I personally experienced such a case during an exorcism. A soul claimed to be one of the wandering souls. However, further investigation revealed that it was a demon. Yet, other exorcists believe the opposite. They hold that the presence of such wandering souls is real. Since this is still a debated issue, theologians will need to study it in depth through the Bible, the Church's teachings, and the experiences of mystics and prophets. One of the greatest lessons is the danger of pride. When a being, whether an angel or a human, begins to think that they are the center of the universe, that they can control everything and are equal to God, they are slowly heading down the path of self-destruction. Pride is the first step towards downfall. Remember that when Satan thought he could surpass God, that was when he lost everything. It was pride that turned a magnificent angel into a rebel. In our lives, when we allow pride to take over, we are also opening the door to failure and suffering. Another important lesson is knowing how to accept our limitations. Satan could not endure the position God had given him and the other angels if, in our own lives, we cannot accept our limitations and destiny and always desire things that are not ours. We will lead ourselves into difficult paths. Power and ambition are not inherently bad. But when we fail to control them, they can become a monster that destroys everything. The story of Satan and the fallen angels warns us of the dangers of pursuing power without proper control. Power and ambition can only lead to success when we use them to serve a higher purpose, for the benefit of others, not for personal gain and vanity. The story of Satan and the fallen angels is not just a fairy tale or a moral lesson in religion. It is a wake-up call for all of us, no matter who we are, where we are, or what circumstances we find ourselves in. The conflicts and struggles between good and evil are present in the everyday lives of each of us. When we face decisions in life, when we encounter temptations, or when we are challenged by power and ambition, this story reminds us that we should not let pride and ambition take control. We must learn to recognize true values, be humble, and always prioritize love, justice, and service to others. In the modern world, full of challenges and temptations, the story of Satan and the fallen angels is not just a religious lesson, but also a powerful reminder of the dangers of pride and betrayal of God. We are called to control our ambitions, remain steadfast in our faith, and have a clear awareness of our own limitations. We should live humbly, appreciate the position that God has assigned to us, and place our obedience in His divine will. Let us not allow pride and greed to lead us down the path of ruin, but always strive to live an upright life full of love and forgiveness. Every day, we need to nurture our faith, pray, and live by the values that God teaches us in order to protect ourselves from the temptations and trials of the devil. Finally, remember that the strength to overcome all of this comes only when we truly surrender our lives to God, where He will always accompany and protect us. Start acting now by nurturing your faith, living humbly, and trusting in God's protection, so you never fall into the traps set by Satan and the fallen angels. Don't forget to save this video and share it with your loved ones. Feel free to comment below to express your faith, and follow the channel to receive notifications for our upcoming videos.